next guest was with us once before, Bill Underwood. Bill's 85 years old, who's probably the world's oldest expert on self-protection. He's trained commandos,
I'll
FBI.
bet Lou could beat the hell
Well,
out
we're going to find out.
Don't get me involved.
He's trained FBI agents and groups of senior citizens in how to defend themselves using a system he developed over a lifetime, which he calls Defendo.
Bill Underwood was British born, and before he left British shores and moved to Canada, he actually was a child working on the vaudeville circuit out of Liverpool and got to be a childhood friend of many of the greats, from Charlie Chaplin, Buffalo Bill Cody, Harry Houdini, and met two of the first original jiu-jitsu masters, to come to British shores. He developed a system of fighting off of that. He became a veteran of the First World War. Between World War I and World War II, he had a real passion for developing really what became the first Canadian or Western hand-to-hand combat system that eventually in World War II became the original system of fighting for our Canadian forces, which is known as Combato. From a military context in the beginning, the concept was very linear and direct, kill or be killed. All right, so an example of a technique he would use that would integrate into a variety of applications would be the combat reinforced wedge. And what that was from any position, a soldier could take a hand, immediately slide to reinforce the inside of the forearm, and this would generate a structure here, and this would generate a ridge. So it could be used in a threefold capacity, from blocking, striking, and also dealing with surprise, messy traffic to get inside then, again, to do serious damage to an individual. And he steps in with a fast motion, boom, I frame this. I'm literally with both hands tying this up into a position so that, again, now I'm right in close and I can deal with his vitals, as opposed to strike him and hit him and stand back and dealing with it. With that's sport. The interesting thing about Combato was that it came about and was designed at a very unique juncture in history, when we had essentially the stressors of incoming war that was about to occur, and it was really an interfacing for the first time of Eastern martial arts, which were very sportive based, very much based on culture or philosophy and art form, to the necessity to develop something that was very direct, linear, and dirty. So all the movements were very direct and linear. So whereas traditional arts would have years and years to train people, Underwood developed a method, like Fairbairn and Sykes, for example, some others were working at the time as well, that could train soldiers in a very direct, linear way to get directly into someone, be very aggressive, ruthless, and dirty in a short period of time. Defense against weapons is certainly that Bill did classically back in the day. Bill was a bit of a celebrity, of course, being on Johnny Carson many times. That's Incredible, Real People, Dinah Shore, and a very famous visual of Bill applying defense against a knife, working with Lou Ferrigno on Johnny Carson, seen around the world by millions and millions of people. What that application looked like was basically an integration of Bill's number 5 grip against the wielder of the knife, right? So a slash comes in, I'm just gonna stop this, bring this to this position. By me picking this up, I now have control of the wrist of this. This subject goes down. Now, again, I have the knife in my hands to deal with it. Bill became an absolute media darling and of an absolute surety. The reason it happened and all started was because he was gutsy enough to walk right into some television studios in California while he was visiting his daughter. He walked up to some security officers, demonstrated some self-defense as a senior citizen, wiped the floor with them. Other staff were watching this amazed, brought him in, brought some of the executives down to see this old man just destroying young guys, and then they invited him on the show. He was on Johnny Carson 4 times. Johnny Carson loved Bill Underwood. Here's a control off a handshake technique, all right? So I go into a handshake, a typical handshake, boom, automatically I direct this upwards. How's it going? Boom, come to this position here, got him right here. I can turn over again, boom, right down into a control position. If I want, swing behind the back, handcuff, move him, whatever the case is. Bill was known to many as the military instructor, so he started to get a lot of phone calls from across Canada, from policing agencies, from federal to municipal level to eastern and northern areas of the United States, asking Bill to train police officers actually in his Combato method. Bill refused initially, saying, no, I can't teach police officers Combato. It's designed to kill or be killed. It's too aggressive. So they started asking Bill, well, can you modify a system? We need controls, more defensive applications and takedowns and that type of thing. And so Bill got to work on modifying his methods into what he then called the Defendo system for that type of application. As a Canadian, Bill was the grandfather of Canadian combatives, arguably North American. I really believe genuinely it's extremely important for Canadians to remember this and like history. We're not very good usually at trumpeting our own history. I've had Americans say, for example, I don't know what's wrong with you Canadians. If Bill Underwood was American, we'd have museums to the guy.